This week, we will learn about the nervous system. The nervous system includes your brain, spinal cord, and nerves. The brain, spinal cord, and nervous system work together to control your heart rate, digestion, as well as actions like walking and running. Your nervous system gathers information from inside and outside of your body. Because your body temperature is about 98 degrees, your nervous system has to work to maintain that temperature when it is cold outside or create sweat to cool you when it is hot outside. Your brain sends information to your muscles for them to move, glands to make hormones, and organs so that your lunch can be digested. These motor functions are very important for you to live. The nervous system is divided into divisions. There are two main divisions and then divided further. These divisions help us to understand how the nervous system works and what it controls. The nervous system is divided into the peripheral and central nervous system. Then the peripheral nervous system is divided even further into autonomic and somatic nervous systems. The central nervous system is composed of the brain and the spinal cord. The central nervous system is composed of the brain and spinal cord. The nervous the central nervous system sends messages to the peripheral nervous system that controls your muscles, organs, and glands. The central nervous system consists of the brain, which is the most complex organ of the body. The brain uses 20% of the oxygen we inhale. There are more nerve cells in the human brain than stars in the entire Milky Way galaxy. The spinal cord relays messages from the brain to the body or peripheral nervous system, and vice versa. The spinal cord functions independently from the brain, but it controls voluntary and involuntary movements like walking and breathing. The adult brain is about 3 pounds. 75% of the brain is composed of water. This is why dehydration is so dangerous. The human brain is not fully developed until 25 years old. Dreams are proof that your brain is working even when you are sleeping. The cerebrum is the largest part of the brain. It is divided into the right and left hemispheres. The portion of the hemispheres are named for the bone that protects the region of the brain. The cerebrum controls the higher functions like interpreting touch, vision, speech, reasoning, emotion, and learning. Speech is a huge part of being a human. The brain is like a huge filing cabinet, and in the speech drawer there's a file for every language in the world. But as you learn speech as a child, words and phrases are added to the file. The files that are not used get emptied to make space for your brain to do other things like learning to walk or play games or sports. But this is why learning language is easy as a child, but it gets harder when you get older. It is not impossible to learn a new language when you get older, it is just harder. Most people that are bilingual or speak two languages learn them both at a young age. The frontal lobe is protected by the frontal bone behind the forehead. The frontal lobe helps us to make decisions like what are we going to eat, as well as thinking or studying for school. The frontal lobe is also where our personality is formed and where we can carry out higher mental processes. The parietal lobe is protected by the parietal bones on the right and left side of the head. The parietal controls information from different senses. These include sight, smell, touch, taste, hearing. This lobe also controls balance. The temporal lobe is protected by the temporal bones above the ears. This lobe is important for auditory information or hearing. It also plays a huge role in long-term memory. The occipital lobe is at the back of the head and is protected by the occipital bone. The occipital lobe of the brain processes visual information from your eyes. The cerebellum makes up about 10% of the total brain size. The cerebellum contains more nerve cells. It contains 50% of the nerve cells that make up your brain. Maintaining balance is part of the function of the cerebellum. The cerebellum sends signals to shift so that you remain balanced. The cerebellum also controls eye movements. The cerebellum also controls motor memory, your muscles remembering how to ride a bike, for example. The brain stem is the back part of the brain. The brain stem is in two sections: the hind brain, which includes the pons, and the midbrain. The small but important brainstem controls movement. The brainstem is going to turn into the spinal cord. This is protected by the vertebrae. The spinal cord is very important for sending messages to the body and receiving messages from the body. The midbrain is divided into three parts. The brainstem is associated with vision, hearing, and motor control. The midbrain is also responsible for sleep and wake cycles. So you might be staying up all night and sleeping most of the day. Your brainstem has adjusted to your new routine. The midbrain works with the pons to adjust your sleep patterns. The pons is also going to control respiration or breathing, swallowing, bladder control, equilibrium, which is balance, and taste. Your taste of food changes every 7 years. The medulla oblongata has a very funny name, but is very important for regulating breathing, heart, and blood vessel functions. It is also going to control sneezing and swallowing. The spinal cord is smaller than you think. It is only 0.4 to 0.6 inches in diameter. The spinal cord stops growing at 5 years old. Your body grows around your spinal column. Your spinal cord has a memory for pain. If you break your toe, your foot will be more sensitive so you don't further injure your toe. Your spinal cord passes through 33 individual vertebrae. The human spinal cord is divided into 31 different segments: 8 cervical, 12 thoracic, 5 lumbar, 5 sacral, and 1 by the coccyx bone. The first function of the spinal cord is to perform action. This is when you want to walk. A message is sent from your brain to your spinal cord to the legs, to the leg muscles so you can walk. The second function sends sensory receptors to the brain. This is your 5 senses at work in your body. These sensory receptors translate what you see, hear, taste, smell, and touch. Reflexes are the third and final function. These are quick responses to situations, like a ball being thrown at you so that you blink, or a light being turned on in a movie theater and your eyes dilate.